Hey guys, HackerSploit here, back again with another video. Welcome back to the penetration testing bootcamp. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to dump hashes with Mimikatz. So again, we're following along with the post-exploitation room on TryHackMe, which is a free room. And we've already taken a look at how to perform enumeration with PowerView, as well as enumeration with Bloodhound and Sharphound. So now our main objective will be to, of course, dump hashes and, of course, take a look at how to crack them with Hashcat. And then finally, and the second part of this video will involve generating golden tickets with Mimikatz, right? So granted, a lot of you are not familiar with Active Directory, but I'll be explaining things as we move along. And yeah, so I'll be sort of filling the blanks in there until we actually get into Active Directory fundamentals, where I'll be covering all the terminology and essentially how everything works. That being said, I've logged into the target system. We already have the Mimikatz binary on the target. However, before we do that, let us, first of all, get an understanding of what Mimikatz is, right? So Mimikatz is essentially a Windows post-exploitation tool that was actually developed by Benjamin Delpy, and it's essentially utilized for extracting plain text credentials from memory, dumping password hashes from the SAM database, and also allows you to perform advanced Kerberos functionality, like we're going to be taking a look at right now when we'll be talking about generating golden tickets. And that's essentially what it's utilized for. And in this case, as I've mentioned before, we don't have to transfer it to the target, which is great. And in order to use it, we can just navigate to the downloads directory here. And again, if I list out the contents of this particular directory, you can see we have mimikatz.exe. So we can execute it by saying mimikatz.exe. All right. And the first thing we need to do is we need to check our privileges, because Mimikatz requires administrative privileges in order to work. So we need to say privilege debug. This will list out, essentially tell us whether we have the adequate privileges. As you can see, privilege 20, okay. So if we add back over into the room, we have just done the first few steps, and you can see it says ensure that the output is privilege 20, okay. That ensures that you're running Mimikatz as an administrator. If you don't run Mimikatz as an administrator, Mimikatz will not run properly. What that means essentially is we'll not be able to dump the contents of, elements or components like the SAM database, etc. Right? Now, before we actually take a look at the technique highlighted here, where it's essentially dumping LSA, it's using LSA dump and dumping LSA, and then of course it's patching or using the patch argument here. Before I explain that, I want to explain a few things and highlight a few other techniques that might be useful for you, right? So when it comes down to dumping clear text passwords, in our case, it'll really not be relevant, because starting with Windows Server 2012, I believe clear text passwords and LM hashes are no longer stored in memory, which means even if we tried and dumped the logon passwords, we shouldn't get any value. So typically, if we were working on an older version of Windows, then we could essentially enumerate the clear text passwords, or the logon passwords, as it were, by typing in sec url sa, and then of course we type in logon passwords. We hit enter, and in this case, you can see it essentially provides us with the NTLM hashes for all the user accounts and any other computers that are part of this domain. However, and I'll just scroll to the top here, we know that the only user that's logged on so far is the administrator user. And you can see under here, it essentially says for the username administrator, the password is null. So we know that it doesn't store passwords in memory or clear text passwords in memory. Regardless of that, we were able to get the NTLM hash here. So that's great. We can, crack it with Hashcat. But before we actually get there, I want to explain a few more things. We can also dump the contents of the SAM database, which you should be familiar with. But if you're not, the SAM database or the Security Account Manager database is essentially is a database file that's found on modern Windows systems and is used to store user account passwords. And I'll get into that as we move on into this particular bootcamp. But for now, you should just know that if you've never had any experience with it. But we can use LSA dump and then we can of course, sorry, let me just type that in, LSA dump, and then we can dump the contents of the SAM database. So we hit enter, you can see it's going to tell us that when it essentially tries to run the operation, we can see that the SAM database, or rather the registry keys here have been set to false. So that means we can't pull the contents of the SAM database, right? All right, so now that we've covered that, we can actually talk about LSA, right? Which is what we're working with here. So Mimikatz has the ability to dump LSA as well as the contents of LSA, or LSA secrets, if you will. And the purpose of LSA, and LSA stands for the Local Security Authority on Windows, is essentially to manage the system's local security policy. And as a result of that, it will typically store data pertaining to user accounts, such as user logins, authentication of users, and their LSA secrets. Now, I doubt that we'll actually be able to dump LSA secrets for, the reasons that I've mentioned previously. But what we can do here is we can follow the instructions provided by TryHackMe. So we say LSA dump LSA, and we use the patch option. Now, the reason we're using the patch option is essentially the following. So if I say LSA dump, and then I just say LSA and we hit enter, you can see it'll provide you with the user, which again will essentially entail the user accounts as well as any other computers that are part of this particular domain. But as for the password or the NTLM hashes, it'll tell us we don't have, it'll essentially give us various errors. So what we need to do is of course use the patch flag, which will essentially patch the memory of the library. The function patch that is utilized by Mimikatz is utilizing, right? So we can run that again, and then we just say patch, we hit enter, and now we get the LM and NTLM hashes, for each of these user accounts, service accounts, and of course computers. So following with the documentation here, we have been able to get that. So it also covers the process of cracking these NTLM hashes with hashcat and using the ROCU word list. But as for the questions, it's asking us to find the password for machine 1. So let's actually get the NTLM hash for machine 1. So there we are, machine 2, machine 1, that's the NTLM hash. So in order to crack it with hashcat, we would essentially say hashcat, and then of course following the instructions here, you can see we specify M to 1000, and then the hash and rocu.txt. So again, if you want to learn more about hashcat, I'll probably be making a video on that. But this you can go through the documentation and essentially how it works. And hopefully I can actually explain a few things in regards to what's going on here. So let me just see, there we are. So when we specify M, that's for the hash type. And if we specify, again, the value in this case is set to 1000. So for example, we can take a look at the hash type and the references, which will provide us with the exact hash that we're working with. So if we go to the hash modes, you can see for 1000, if I can actually find that here. Let's see if I can identify that here. For some reason, it's not been sorted numerically, which I guess is fine. Let's see if I can find that here. Right, so 1000, the mode or the type of hash 1000 refers to NTLM, so that should make sense now. So we essentially, I'll just hit enter here, and we'll then say hashcat M1000, and then paste in the hash there, and then we specify the directory or the path to the word list, the ROCU word list. So user share word lists, and then rocu.txt. We hit enter. That's going to begin the cracking process. In my case, it looks like all hashes found in pot file, use show to display them. So all we need to do is just say show. In my case, I've cracked this before. That's why it's asking me to essentially show the file. And there we are. You can see for this particular hash, this is the password. So it's password 1. So let's actually verify that. And the machine 1 password is password 1. So that's fairly simple. Again, this is for demonstration purposes, as you can obviously tell. And then what is the machine 2 hash, which we were able to get here. So machine 2, that's the NTLM hash there. We just paste it in there and submit that, and that is correct, right? So that is done or that is essentially it for dumping hashes with Mimikatz. We can now take a look at golden ticket attacks with Mimikatz. All right, so when we talk about golden ticket attacks, there's a few things that I need to explain. Number one, if you remember the previous videos, I didn't explain what this user account is used for, or what its purpose for, or what its purpose was in the context of an Active Directory domain or environment. The reason I didn't do that is primarily because I didn't want to confuse you before we reached this particular stage. But the KRB TGT user account is essentially a local account in an Active Directory environment that is essentially utilized for key distribution, right? Or ticket distribution. So again, I've not really introduced Active Directory. If you're not familiar with it, when working in an Active Directory environment, accounts sign in with username and password, and or any other form of authentication, and then of course they get back a Kerberos ticket that contains the authentication token. Now, the golden ticket attack, or the process of generating a golden ticket, is essentially generating an authentication token for the KRB TGT account, right? Now, this particular account, as I've mentioned, has the job, or its main functionality is to essentially encrypt all of the authentication tokens for all the users on the domain for the domain controller, right? So the golden ticket can be used to essentially log into any account, right? So in order to utilize it, or in order to do that, we need to create a golden ticket. We need to actually create a golden ticket. So the steps involved here are fairly simple. Number one, we need to dump the hash and security identifier for the Kerberos ticket granting ticket account, which is what it stands for, which will allow us to create a golden ticket. So again, that can be done fairly simply. All we need to do is type in LSA dump LSA, and then of course we use the inject option. Now the inject option is fairly simple, or rather, I really don't want to cover it right now because that's going to be beyond the scope of this video, but we can actually just follow along with these demonstrations, and I'll explain what's going on here, right? So I'll just clear that out, and if we can then say LSA dump LSA, and then we specify inject, and we then say the name of the account is KRB, so Kerberos ticket granting system, so or rather the ticket granting ticket account, which is KRB TGT, and then of course we hit enter, and that is going to give us all the relevant details for this particular, or rather the domain SID here, the NTLM hash, etc. So again, we need to actually copy all of this information. We'll do that in a second, but as you can see here, it tells us to copy the domain controller, or rather the controller SID, and then the name of the user account, which in this case is KRB TGT, and then the NTLM hash, right? So now when it comes down to creating the golden ticket, we need to essentially specify a Kerberos golden, the user that we want to essentially elevate our privileges to, or switch our privileges to the domain, and then the SID, right, which is over here, which we can actually copy, and then the NTLM hash of the KRB TGT account, and then the ID, or SID rather, of the administrator user. So what we can do is essentially just say, I'm just going to do that right now. Let me just copy all of this information here. So we'll just open up mousepad here. That's the SID. We have the user account there. Just make sure I have everything noted down. And then the NTLM hash for this particular account. And then the SID we know is 500, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it in regards to what we need to specify. So again, what we'll do is we'll head over here, and again, let me just make sure that that is set correctly. So we will say Kerberos golden, and then we specify the user, which in this case is going to be administrator. And then we have the domain, which in this case is going to be controller.local. Do we have to be case sensitive? No, we don't. All right, and then the SID, right? SID, which we will just copy from here. And then we paste that in there. And then the next option that we need to provide is the KRB TGT hash or user account hash TGT. And then we just get that from here. Get that there. And then of course we need to provide the SID or the ID, right, for the administrator user, which in this case is 500. So if we just go back in here, it looks like we've specified that correctly, and we can just hit enter now. So I'm just going to hit enter, and you can see final ticket is saved to file. So now we can utilize the golden ticket to log into any account, or in this case to the administrator account. So we can do that by saying miscellaneous CMD, right? So misc CMD, hit enter. As you can see, patch OK for cmd.exe. And if we list out the contents here, sorry about that. Let me just clear that out. If we take a look at the questions here before we actually do that, well, we don't have any questions, but there we are. So it says this will open up a new command prompt with elevated privileges to all machines. So we can essentially, as you can see, access other machines. You'll now have another command prompt with access to all of the machines on the network. However, as I said, these machines are offline, so we can't actually access them. Even if we were utilizing psexec, so in this case, as you can see, it actually tells you that here, but we know that that's how it works. So yeah, that's essentially how to generate a golden ticket with Mimikatz. As I said, it may be a bit confusing at the moment, but I'll be explaining all of this when we'll be taking an in-depth look at Active Directory environments. All right, so that's pretty much all that I wanted to cover in this video, primarily because, again, I don't want to get too much into, you know, the various concepts that surround Active Directory and, you know, exploiting Active Directory environments. But I will be making follow-up videos that, again, highlight how to use Mimikatz, you know, in depth a little bit, because I haven't explained that here. So again, let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions or suggestions, I would love to hear about them, or actually answer them if I can. You can leave them in the comment section, or you can contact me via Twitter. If you have any other in-depth questions or detailed questions that you'd like me to answer, you can join our Discord server and I'll be sure to answer you there. We have great members on there that can, again, help you with most of your questions. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. A huge thank you to all of our Patreons. Your support is greatly appreciated, and this is a formal thank you. So thank you Shamir Douglas, Ryan Carr, Sandor, Michael Busby, Sid Saab, Doozy, Tafim Bari, Dustin Umpress, and Michael Hubbard. Your support is greatly appreciated, and you keep us making even more high quality content for you guys. So thank you.